28 days later, Michigan finally has its coach officially.
28 years later.
28 years later. Officially announcing Jim Harbaugh as the 20th coach in Michigan football history. Brendan Quinn here alongside Michigan MLive football beat writer Nick Baumgardner. Nick, I guess in terms of takeaways from Jim Harbaugh's introductory press conference, didn't have a lot to say. It was more just a lot of smiling and some jokes, and him seeming to want to emphasize his history and his love of Michigan more than anything else, not really giving any context or anything other than, hey, I'm here and want to get rolling.
This is what you're going to get from him for as long as he's here. That's who he is. He doesn't care to stand up there and talk to any of us. That's not what he's about. He's about winning games. I think he said it at some point along the way, I just want to win. That's all I care about. That's all the guy cares about. That's all he breathes, basically. Everyone you talk to that knows him will tell you that winning is all that's ever mattered to him. He called this a dream job, obviously. This place is very, fond memories of Michigan. Hinted that he'd like to stay here for a long time, but at the end of the day, all he wants to do is win. Nothing else in that guy's mind matters, and that's how it's going to be for him.
Final numbers money-wise, $5 million, 7 years, $2 million signing bonus, a couple 10% raises in there after the third and the fifth year.
Yeah.
So not a money thing. This wasn't done with money. I think this was very clearly not to discredit the work that Jim Hackett did or anything like that. But this was clearly Jim Harbaugh deciding to come back to Michigan.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was him wanting to take this opportunity. I think he talks about how much the place means to him, and that he kind of dreamed about this as a kid. I mean, a couple years ago, before Brady Hoke was hired, it was the same kind of deal. I think he had that weight on him then. The interesting thing about the contract to me is it's a 7-year deal, $5 million per year. But Jim Hackett had said right away, in a year, we're going to reevaluate this with a deferred comp package that's based on market value, which means when NFL teams start calling him in November, Jim Hackett has the wherewithal to say, okay, your salary just now went up to whatever we can pay it. So at the end of the day, it's not about money, but Michigan, and I think, is making it very clear to him that, hey, we can pay you whatever you need to be paid, to be here for as long as you want to be here.
And market value also being Nick Saban, Urban Meyer,
any other coach around.
And the other interesting tidbit about that was Jim Hackett saying, I am going to reevaluate this in a year, which means that he would still be the interim athletic director would still be here in a year.
Well, I've written this about 5 times now. I mean, the guy has taken I thought he put out a tire fire. I mean, he's taken a total mess of a situation, and he came out at the other end with the best possible result anyone could have hoped of, and something that most people didn't even think was possible. I mean, if he wants the job, I think Jim Hackett's probably going to be able to stay here for as long as he wants to stay here. That's what I read it. I mean, he's just made the hire that could possibly save the program that has been crumbling for 7 years, and people wondered if it would ever get back. If there's anybody who could bring it back to the crazy level of success that they had, it would be this guy. Jim Hackett had one mission when he took this job: fix football, and that part of that mission was find a way to get Jim Harbaugh here, and he did it. I mean, so he's here as long as he wants to be.
Before we wrap this thing up, of the guys that you spoke to, all kinds of Michigan dignitaries and legends here today, of all the guys you spoke to afterward, what was your biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway was just excitement, I guess, overall. The players were, a couple of Michigan players were here. They were excited. They were very proud of the fact also that their team is held together throughout this 28, 30, whatever, how long it's been, because it was tough. I talked to Jack Miller and Desmond Morgan, both said the day after Brady Hoke was fired, actually Desmond said, when Brady Hoke walked out the door the last time and he saw Desmond, he said, make sure these guys stay together. So the next day they had a team meeting, stuck together. They only lost one kid in 28 days, and that was more of a family deal than anything else. So for that to happen is pretty impressive, that they stay together that long. Jim Harbaugh thanked Brady Hoke, obviously, too. So I think the biggest takeaway for me was, obviously everyone's excited, but the players have a resolve about them here, and they have a little bit of an edge now. I mean, I think they want to prove a little bit. This is a big deal. They're excited, but they're together, and I think that's important.
And Jack Miller saying to me, flat out, this wasn't just normal hiring. No. Everyone recognizes that.
Everyone knows
they got the best guy available in the business. So, that's it for today. For Nick, I'm Brendan. Thanks for watching.